governor gives his remarks, slide this right into place.
Okay, I'll be over there out of the way, and then once it happens, yes, ma'am, I am here for you.
I think I have it.
You know where we're going?
I think some people have an assigned seat. I don't know.
Okay.
Governor speaking from here. I don't want to go here.
What's that on his behalf?
I think there's some other seats over there.
Kwame control. They're already sitting. They're already sitting down. So it should be Kwame, me, and everybody outside.
Great. Great. Yeah.
All right.
You guys should go grab. If,
All right.
if they're already sitting, you guys should go grab some seats. Where's Miss? So you should sit. He's in the Okay, I just triaged this.
How'd you do it?
I'm just gonna sit.
Where's Crystal Gonzalez?
Is that her?
Okay, we're waiting on her. Thank you. She's downstairs. She's not showing up. Bring her up here. That's not Crystal Gonzalez.
She's phenomenal. And we have a great team. We have built a really good team, and we love them, and we've invested in them, and they are our future. So that's really good. I've heard about that. Yeah, I was already a fan. Hey, it's too. Thanks for being here. Come this way. Right here, everybody take out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you could take your seats if you have a seat. If you don't have a seat, if you could please quiet down. It's a very tight fit in the room, and we understand that. Thank you for your patience. We will begin in just a moment.
Good morning. It's great to see each and every one of you. I first want to welcome our special guest to Annapolis, including the Irish ambassador to the United States, Ambassador Nason. I want to say to you and to the senator, it is an absolute joy to have you here. I know you're here on a trade mission, but as you said, this is more like a welcome home. So it's great to have you back in Annapolis, and Delegate Kerr. I'm not sure I saw him there earlier. He was kind. He's in the back. I see you over there, Delegate. He was kind enough also to present me with a membership to the American Irish State Legislators Caucus. So top of the morning to you, sir, and I appreciate the invitation to the caucus. Now, at the start of session, we were clear that we would go into session with four very clear priorities. The first is make Maryland safer. The second, make Maryland more affordable. The third, make Maryland more competitive. And the fourth, to continue to make Maryland the state that serves. And today, I'm excited that we're going to be signing bills to make our state more competitive. And look, we knew coming in that we are going to be data-driven and heart-led in everything that we do. That I come from the business community. I come from an environment where I had a chance to lead a nonprofit that was very data-focused on all the investments that we made. And I know that in order to get our economy going, it means we have to create a more hospitable business climate, where industries can thrive and small businesses can grow, where open for business cannot be a slogan. It needs to actually be a plan. And that is the mindset for the bills that we have today. Because today, we will sign the Critical Infrastructure Streamlining Act. This bill is going to supercharge the data center industry in our state so we can unleash more economic potential and create more good-paying union jobs in our state. We are also going to sign the Transparent Government Act. And this is going to be important because in order for us to be able to move faster, it also means we've got to move clearer. And transparency has got to be a core focus of everything that we do. This is going to make sure that the permitting process is more transparent because you should not have to wait years to get a permit in the state of Maryland. Now, these are just two of the 275 bills that we're going to sign today. But none of these bills would have gotten across the finish line if it were not for the people in this room. And I'm grateful for the partnership that we have with our remarkable General Assembly, our Senate President, and our Speaker of the House, Bill Ferguson and Adrian Jones. God bless you both, and thank you for the partnership that you continue to provide to us. I'm grateful for the partnership that we have for all the advocates and the activists who came to Annapolis to make their voices heard, even when making your voice heard can sometimes be hard. But making sure that the communities that you represent, the people who you support, making sure that they are not and will not be forgotten in our legislative process. And to all the state legislators who put in a tremendous amount of work this session. And while we're proud to say that not only are we thankful to have all of you as partners in this work, that once again today represents that for every single bill this administration introduced, every one of them got passed bipartisan. Democrats and Republicans working together. Now, how about that? And today, we're also joined by the families of Judge Andrew Wilkinson and Corporal Glenn Hilliard. Judge Wilkinson and Corporal Hilliard were taken from us far too soon. But their loved ones have shown a strength that is not just admirable. Frankly, it's shown a strength that even in my best days, I would hope to be half as strong as you all are. They came to Annapolis. They lobbied for legislation that could help this state heal and could help this state be better. And today, we sign bills in honor of both Judge Wilkinson and also Corporal Hilliard, and we are thankful and grateful for the work that you did to make that happen. In fact, can you all please stand? If it's okay, can you all please stand so we can recognize you and just thank you for your hard work? And this is so important, and what you did is so important because this is that at the end of every single bill, it's important to remember not just the process, it's important to remember the why. Why we had people who are willing to come to Annapolis to advocate? Why are we people who are willing to serve and sacrifice to make sure that our state could be better, could be more loving, and more supportive? Change does not happen. Change is made to happen. And you all, and so many in this room, you fought to make sure that that change could actually happen. And with that in mind, I also want to talk about one more bill, the Enough Act. One of the greatest drivers of hardship and heartbreak in our state is poverty, is child poverty. The fact that for so many children, their destiny is written before they even get a chance to have a say. Because poverty drives violence. Poverty drives despair. Poverty hides the vast potential in all of our children. Poverty hinders economic competitiveness, and poverty is not about a single zip code. Because when we're talking about the impacts of poverty, we're talking about Western Maryland. We're talking about the Eastern Shore. We're talking about Southern Maryland. We're talking about Prince George's and Montgomery County. We're talking about Baltimore City, Baltimore County, from Cecil County to Harford County. We're talking about everywhere. And the heartbreak of child poverty is that it's not just concentrated, but oftentimes it is generational, where 1 in 8 of our kids are growing up in poverty in the state of Maryland. And that should keep all of us up at night. The Enough Act continues the frontal assault on child poverty that we launched on Inauguration Day, and this is going to be a first of its kind initiative in the entire country. This legislation is guided by data, it's guided by evidence, and it's guided by best practices that are years in the making. Our administration believes deeply that the people who understand these challenges most are the ones who are most inclined to fix them and in the best position to fix them. Because this legislation is not just about a renewed focus on addressing poverty. This legislation is a new way of governing. And I'm talking about people like Z, Nottingham, Lemon. Z is the executive director of Cherry Hill Strong, which is a nonprofit that focuses on community revitalization. In Baltimore, Z is, as we say, rich, raised in Cherry Hill. And leaders like Z aren't just asking us to save their communities. In fact, they're actually saying the opposite. Our communities don't need saving. And we don't need someone else to come in and save them. We need to make sure that we're unleashing the power and the potential of all of our communities and stop putting barriers in the way. And that's why this legislation calls on community leaders to come together and create comprehensive plans on how to make their neighborhoods better. This is not putting together the plan and then telling the communities to execute. This is about the communities putting together the plan and then just simply looking at the state as a partner in that work. That's why this legislation is so important. And the premise is simple. The leaders in our communities, they will provide the vision. The state will provide the support, and not the other way around, as it's oftentimes done. We will fund winning proposals with public and private money. We will build partnerships with communities so they can benefit from the muscle and the coordination of government. We will organize our work through the new Governor's Office for Children, led by Special Secretary Carmel Martin. And the proposals we're asking for will give us a roadmap to elevating our communities, and that's written by them and not simply for them. Because those are the ones who we trust most to make this work actually happen. Enough. Engaging neighborhoods, organizations, unions, governments, and households. That's what Enough stands for. But it's more than an acronym. It's a governing philosophy. And I want to thank everyone in this room for support in making it happen. All the legislators, both Democrat and Republican, who voted to make it happen. We are going to make Maryland the best place in the world to change the world. It starts today. And the thing that I know is that in order for us to get the moment right, we also have to remember why the stakes are too high for us to fail. You know, one thing I have learned in this job, I've said before, is that when my phone rings in the middle of the night, I'm never about to get good news. The good news can wait. It's the bad news that comes when your phone rings in the middle of the night. And that happened last July when I got a call from Mayor Brandon Scott, who told me that there was a mass shooting in Brooklyn. And that night we then turned to focus on the tragedy that was in front of us, to provide immediate supports. But also there was something that never lost me that night. We've continued to lose sleep over now, is that there is a bigger and a deeper and unshakable tragedy that we cannot forget. Because that was a tragic night with tragic consequences. And it should not be lost on anybody that in Brooklyn, 1 of 2 children grow up in poverty. You can't separate these things. And we've seen similar numbers in Brooklyn for over a decade, because those who grow up in poverty are most likely to die in poverty. Because it is sticky, and it's brutal, and it shows itself in every single way that we exist. In the air we breathe, in the water we drink, in the communities you live in the schools you attend, in the way that you're policed, in the transportation assets you have or don't have. It does not choose. It shows itself in every way. And so you cannot understand what happened the night of July 2nd without understanding all of the horrific nights that happened the night before. And it's time we address all of that. Because child poverty is not just a consequence, it is a cause. And there's a lot of people who know that. Crystal Gonzalez knows that. Crystal's daughter, Aaliyah, was shot and killed in Brooklyn that night. But her work, her remarkable work, has turned pain into purpose. Crystal was one of the first people we spoke with about this. Crystal said, whatever you need, I'm willing to do it, and she has done it. Advocated, knocked on doors, helped with language, made sure the remarkable legacy of Aaliyah will always be remembered. And Ms. Gonzalez, I'm telling you, it will be. Her name and her legacy are in the stars. And we're better because of not just her, but her mom. By working together, you've turned pain into purpose. And we've crafted and passed legislation on a bipartisan basis to stop these cycles. And to know that this is just how Maryland's going to move from now on. By working together, we will build stronger communities. And so, Ms. Gonzalez, thank you. And if it's okay, I'd like to invite you up, because I'd like to present you the first ceremonial pen that we will use to sign the Enough Act and make anything else. And with that, I'm honored to turn the microphone over to my friend and our partner in the work, Senate President Bill Ferguson.
Thank you as well. And under terrible circumstances, it's a pleasure to see you again, Ms. Gonzalez. I'm so sorry for your loss, and I'm so humbled by your advocacy. It is truly, truly remarkable. Following something like that and transitioning is always a challenge. And I'm going to go a bit off script because as I was standing here, I hearkened back to actually one of the first times that I had met the governor. It was back in 2012. We had a mutual friend. At that point, it was just Wes and Dawn, not the governor and first lady. And a mutual friend said, hey, there's this couple that you all should meet. We think you and your wife will like them. They have similar interests as you. And so we met. We had a great conversation. You know, some people say that the governor can be charismatic. I don't know. And so, you know, I thought, okay, well, this is an interesting group. I'm glad they're going to be working in Baltimore, but let me see if it's for real. Let me just see what's happening. And just so happened that summer, there's an annual event in Cherry Hill, the neighborhood I'm so proud to represent, run by the Spelman Gentlemen's Club. Don't worry, it is it's a group of young gentlemen from Cherry Hill who grew up in Cherry Hill and came back to invest in the community. Amazing, amazing individuals. Do for young people, for seniors, one-off events. It's phenomenal. And so I reached out to the governor and said, hey, there's this event in Cherry Hill. He had no reason to come. There was no purpose. He wasn't running for anything. And I thought, like, I just want to see if this guy's for real. That was 11 years ago. And we stood in Cherry Hill and celebrated with the gentlemen who invest in their community. And for 10 years, I told him the story of the potential of what Cherry Hill can be. I said, you know, there's this other place up in Brooklyn. You know, there's this Harlem Children's Zone that has, it's actually Harlem, not Brooklyn. You know, that if we just can find a way to bring the right resources and have a clear plan. And there's this group around promised neighborhoods and purpose-built communities that if you just have resources and you build a vision and you invest in people, you know, we have neighborhoods like that across the city and across the state. And we're standing here now, 13 years later, signing a piece of legislation that is going to enable that exact story coming into position. That is what progress can look like when things change and leaders lead. I want to thank the governor and the speaker for this incredible work and the bill that we are signing here today. I do have to say the governor did forget to mention something that I had a very important award this year. I was the Irish American Legislator of the Year Award. This one, I worked very, very hard for this award by being born. And I want to thank my good friend and Senate President in Ireland, Mark Daly, who is joining us here today to celebrate one of the bills that we will be signing for the Maryland and Irish Coalition to Increase Trade and Economic Opportunity. Thank you for being here as well. Final point, I just want to note for some of the great bills that are not at the top of the queue, but are so important for protecting Marylanders. I see our Vice Chair from Education, Energy, and the Environment, and Senator Guile, Senator Kramer. We have a number of bills being signed today that were about protecting Marylanders, be it their privacy, their data, protecting kids who operate online, protecting from fraudulent sales with Ticketmaster and on online sales platforms, and then, of course, most importantly, saving Marylanders money. There have been some scrupulous, thank you very much, scrupulous actors when we deregulated our energy markets, and about $150 million per year was being extracted out of Marylanders. President Pro Tem, do I see? Oh, and our chairman. Yes, hello there. Senator Kramer, who is, Senator Feldman, what am I doing? Who has been working on just a leader in this space so that we can protect Marylanders from being fleeced from retail energy markets. Senate Bill 1 that will be signed today is going to protect those Marylanders and their consumers' rights and make sure that when we have a retail, a capitalistic market, we're protecting them from losing money. These are really important bills that may not hit the headlines every once in a while, but it's important to note the hard work that the legislators here today have engaged in over the last year in order to make these bills possible. With that, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you and hand it over to my partner in this work, Speaker Adrian Jones.
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's great to be here again with Governor Moore and President Ferguson for our third bill signing. With the 2024 Preakness Stakes just over a week away, I'm pleased that we will be signing House Bill 1524 to preserve the future of thoroughbred racing, horse racing in Maryland. I want to specifically thank Ways and Means Chair Vanessa Atterbury for sponsoring this legislation with the Maryland Thoroughbred Racetrack Operating Authority. Because of this bill, we have a path forward to continue running the Preakness in Maryland and renovate the historic Pimlico Race Course. This bill will create lasting economic benefits to the state and the Baltimore region. Today, I also want to highlight the commitment made by the House and Senate to make 2024 the year of the Maryland consumer. Early in session, the House and Senate came together, believe it or not, we're not like Washington, came together to say that Marylanders should be able to make well-informed decisions about their choices without being mistreated or misled. This work couldn't be more important as it relates to our digital economy. The same technologies that we rely on enable our society to do so much good that also will be used to cause great harm. As more and more Marylanders are online every day, everyone is vulnerable. This year, we passed a series of bills to put safeguards in place to protect our most vulnerable consumers. We passed the Maryland Kids Code, sponsored by Delegate Jared Solomon, to require tech companies to design their online products with our children's privacy, safety, and wellness in mind. We passed the Maryland Online Data Privacy Act, sponsored by Delegate Sarah Lane, to allow consumers to know what information is collected about them when they are online, to be able to have their information deleted or corrected, and to be able to opt out of the sale of their information. And we passed legislation sponsored by Chairman C.T. Wilson related to the sale and resale of tickets. Ticketing platforms are now required to implement all-in, up-from ticket pricing and are prohibited from selling speculative tickets. These bills were ambitious and complicated. Because of our collaborative approach, we have set some of the highest standards in the country on these issues. I want to thank Senate President Ferguson and the Senate bill sponsors for their partnership as we work together to protect Maryland consumers. I believe this is the type of collaboration the governor envisions when he talks about the great partnership we have in different levels of government in our state. I look forward to building and strengthening these partnerships with the governor, the Senate, and other stakeholders next session and beyond. With that, let's get these bills signed.
Ladies and gentlemen, if we could keep conversation relatively quiet as we work through these first few bills so people can hear our directions. We're going to do multiple photos for the Enough Act, given the demand. So we're going to ask for this first photo if our special guests in the seated area who are here for the Enough Act, as well as the secretaries and any legislators who want to join, will come up right now.
Senate Bill 482, Governor's Office for Children Engaging Neighborhoods, Organizations, Unions, Governments, and Households. Enough Grant Program, Enough Act of 2024. House Bill 1206, Maryland, Ireland Trade Commission Establishment.
In fact, let me just make sure. Yeah, I think when you're done, I would throw it there. That helps. I think it does.
There you are.
Thank you.
House Bill 1524, horse racing, racing facility ownership and construction, racing operations.
Is HB 1524.
Bill 1524, right here. You guys are awesome. The gentleman in the center there in the back. Thank you very much. You did a beautiful thing. We got you now. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Senate Bill 474, Critical Infrastructure Streamlining Act of 2024.
Critical infrastructure. Oh, I thought I was getting one. I was like, what? Is this 474 still?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Senate Bill 474. Slide 3 rows, please.
Are you in this bill? Keep coming, keep
Anyone else
coming.
for the Critical Infrastructure Streamlining Act?
Keep coming.
Got one more back here.
Call our folks in the back if we could. 2 lines.
Alrighty. Senate Bill 474, right here. Thank you very much. Next bill, please.
House Bill 664, Senate Bill 575, Court Personnel Protection and Personal Information, Judge Andrew F. Wilkinson Judicial Security Act. I try. It's an easy job.
They do have the backpack, so I can take it, put it out there, we're not going back. It's okay with her.
Yeah, we'll get you. Folks, if you're here for the Judicial Security Act, please work your way around so that the family may be in the center of the photo.
John, how about you and I go to the other side? Or free.
All right, folks, give me 2 rows, give me 2 rows. 2 rows, please. Thank you.
Okay, hold on just a second.
All right, folks, you want to move up to the chairs as close as you can get for me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen. Call the transparent government.
They're making the plates now. Okay, can we call this one?
Let's call transparent government. It's,
These two? Now? House Bill 581, Senate Bill 472, State Government, Permits, Licenses, Certificates, Processing, Transparent Government Act of 2024.
For the one you just called? No. This be next.
House Bill 1064, Senate Bill 897, Income Tax Subtraction Modification, Death Benefits, Law Enforcement Officers and Firefighters. Senate Bill 740, operating a vessel while under the influence of alcohol, enforcement, Nix law.
Give me 2 rows, folks. 2 rows, please.
Senate Bill 740. Senate Bill 740, right here. Thank you. Outstanding. Next bill, please.
House Bill 52, Senate Bill 109, state employees, parental bereavement leave.
Thank you all very much for joining us today.
I can barely hear it. I'm gonna try to find it details now. It's hard. Could you like try to project it to it? I think it's
Don't, please don't.
Senate Joint Resolution 1, affirming the Federal Equal Rights Amendment.
Have 2 rows, please.
House Bill 250, Financial Institutions, Third-Party Service Providers, Examinations.
Thank you all very much for coming. We appreciate it.
House Bill 1128, Labor and Employment, Workforce Development, Talent Innovation Program, and Fund.
Folks, we're going to need 2 rows for this. And taller folks can be in the back, please.
All right, folks, we get 2 rows. 2 rows, please. A couple of folks here that can stay in the back. I will get back there.
We've got enough seats here.
Okay.
Bill, 1128. You are looking great. Gentlemen in the back, I can't really see you. Get up closer to the flag. Good? Okay. Right here, 1128. Looking great. Next group, please.
Thank you all.
Senate Bill 258, Department of General Services, State Buildings and Facilities, Energy Conservation, and Greenhouse Gas Emission Reductions.
I got that one already.
Yes. How's everything? Everything going well? Everything going well?
Hey, Senator, how are you? I'm well, thank you. House Bill 233, Chesapeake and Atlantic Coastal Bays Critical Area Protection Program, Climate, Equity, and Administrative Provisions.
Chef Josie, how are you? Hey, you remember these days, don't you?
Yeah, I remember this.
Jeff used to be the announcer.
I remember. House Bill 78, Maryland Environmental Service, Governance and Requirements.
Spell what?
Senate Bill 708, Family Law, Kinship Care. No.
Senate Bill 708. Wow, we are looking great. Thank you very much. Next bill, please. Thank you all for coming.
Senate Bill 270, Adult Protective Services, Review Boards, Membership and Terms.
I think you said 278.
Oh, 270. Senate Bill 270.
Bill 270 right here. Thank you very much. You got your back. Next bill, please.
House Bill 435, Child Support, Incarcerated Obligators.
House Bill 435. Thank you very much. Next bill, please.
House Bill 1296, Electricity Offshore Wind Projects Alterations.
Circle it on the page for them to make the, House Bill 183.
We have two lines. Call the folks in the back, please.
Folks, if you squeeze in, get cozy, please.
That's good. No more over here. Oh, excellent.
Find the next one.
Bill 1296 right here, please.
All by myself.
You guys are great. Thank you. Next bill, please.
House Bill 183, Human Services, Food Supplement Program and Human Services Career Scholarships, Alterations.
It's the same people as the one right here.
Waiting for you.
Things ready, yeah. They have the things ready. They're all
SP 1012, HB 7. He doesn't need to go next. So just after 918, 777, it's the same. It'll just be 1012.
We need to do this one next, sorry.
Okay, you ready? House Bill 622, Consumer Reporting Agencies. Records of criminal proceedings, prohibition. House Bill 622.
I think I've done what you told me.
You did, no, you did.
House Bill 601, Senate Bill 442, street racing and exhibition driving, prohibited acts, enforcement, and penalties. Senate Bill 375, state contracts, prohibited provisions. House Bill 918, Senate Bill 777, State Treasurer and Comptroller, Membership Responsibilities.
And it's only the same.
House Bill 1012, Senate Bill 775, State Officers and Employees, Required Security Bonds, Insurance Policies Authorized. Senate Bill 448, a study on African American Civil War soldiers in Maryland. Absolutely, I love it. I find it fun. Senate Bill 524, General Assembly, Committee Chairs and Vice Chairs, Gender Neutral Language. Senate Bill 1084, House Bill 1069, Work Group for the Deaf, Deafblind, and Hard of Hearing established.
Alrighty, Senate Bill 1084, right here. Thank you very much. You guys are looking great. And sir, your cell phone picture is going to be one next to it.
House Bill 432, Courts and Judicial Proceedings and Criminal Procedure, Technical Corrections, References to Intellectual Disability.
House Bill 432, right here, please and thank you.
This one is our personal one. This one isn't attached to the thing. Sorry, to the system. Sorry about that. It won't change anything. I just need to pack this one away. I'm so sorry. Wait, that means I don't have to. Thank you, baby.
Senate Bill 808, Anaerobic Digestion Technology, Coordination and Guidance. House Bill 840, Vehicle Laws, Annual Vehicle Shows, Motor and Trailer Homes Delegate. Next. House Bill 999, Workgroup on Establishing a Science and Technology Best Practices and Innovation Network. Senate Bill 1068, Department of Information Technology, evaluation and development of a 311 portal using artificial intelligence. House Bill 882, Business Regulation, Sale of Motor Fuel, Price Signage, Gas Price Clarity Act. When do you want that one? Not next. House Bill 567,